Hey, what's going on everyone, Zeta here. Welcome back to another ramble video. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about feats and an idea that I've got that could really change the course of For Honor as a whole and, in my opinion, make the game just a little bit more fun. Before we get into it, if you are new around here, I'd really appreciate if you drop me a like and subscribe because it would really make my day and I'd really like to have you a part of the crew. But if not, that's fine too. So, feats are a little bit of a mess right now in For Honor. They're a little bit all over the show. On the one hand, you got some feats that are like near enough useless or very situational to the point where they would only be good in one certain situation. And on the other hand, you got feats that are so powerful and so broken that you don't even need to be good at the game and you could still do better than someone who has 300 plus hours playing. An example of this is Last Laugh. You literally get rewarded for losing. That's how broken that feat is. You literally get rewarded for losing. So you die and you killed everyone in the blast radius. It's silly. They need to rework feat, and this is how I would go about doing it. So there's either two ways they could go with this if they were to do this. They could either make it so where feats are not passive anymore, so where they're all like you have to activate them, or they can make them all passive. I don't think it's the best idea that they've got it so where some feats are passive and some feats are not, and especially since some of the feats that are passive are more powerful than some of the feats that are activated, i.e. Kensei's fast recovery. That is more powerful than Centurion's quick recovery feat where he activates it. You know which one I'm on about. I don't know the name of it. It's the one where you activate it and you have infinite stamina, basically. Speaking of Kensei, he's got two feats that don't make any sense. He's got one feat where he gets all his stamina back when he runs out of stamina quicker, and he's got another feat where he can run when he's out of stamina, which just doesn't make sense. Like, you know, like why would you have a feat where you can run when you could just have all your stamina back anyway? You know, it doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So first, let's talk about the situation where all feats are passive. Alright, so let's say they take all the feats down and they rework every single feat and they say, right, okay, so we're going to make everything passive to the point where basically you just get stronger as you play. Basically, you don't get to use any feats. There's nothing really like there. This would be good for the fact that For Honor is a fighting-based game and not a ability-based game. So like, it's not really a game where you use abilities and stuff to win. It's fighting-based and learning your opponent. However, if they were to do this, it would take a lot of the strategy-based style out of the game. So something that I like to do with Lawbringer is when I unlock the grenade, the grenade, what you get, its third feat, I like to use that on the minions to help me rush my fourth feat. Or, for example, Apollyon's feat where she uses that poison bomb at the end where she like throws her fourth feat at the floor. That's the biggest downside I can think of to having all passive feats. Another downside to it is the fact that they are very limited to what they could do with the feats. So like, you couldn't have it so where Warmonger basically, just gives off poison passively and kills you because that would be too overpowered. And also there's the fact that they have to do this balancing so that it works across the board and not just in Dominion. Even though Dominion is the most popular and possibly the only game mode that is played right now, that has feats involved, they do need to balance it across the board, so it would be even harder. So now let's look at the other side of the spectrum where all feats are active feats, where you have to activate the feat to use it. Personally, I kind of like this option a little bit better because there's more strategy involved in it and there's more options of what you can do. It just would be more fun if you have more options of abilities that you can use. However, there are some downsides to this one as well. But first, let me talk about the positives. So, first and foremost, it would remove the whole safety net aspect of the game. So, for example, let's say we have Rocksteady Shigoki, right? That passive feat, in my opinion, is ridiculous. Like, the only character in the game that can counter that is Jormungandr, I believe, and maybe Valkyrie. But mainly Jormungandr, because she is the only character that can knock over a Shigoki, which I think is absolutely silly. It shouldn't be one character can counter a feat. I feel like all the feats should be counterable by everyone across the board. So it would fix that issue. It would also fix the issue of people who are not afraid to spam attacks because they have that fast stamina recovery. So if they run out of stamina, it's not a big issue anyway. The main downside though to this like activating feats mode is that it would be less about fighting and more about just using your abilities to win the match. which is the biggest downside that I can see with it being active feats. Of course, they could also do it the way Overwatch have done it, where they make it so you only have one like ultimate ability and you work up to that ultimate, which would be kind of cool if they could do that, but it's only an option, you know, right now. So here's what I propose. In a normal Dominion game, you have two sides. You have the red side and the blue side. Well, technically not red or blue anymore because everyone can be whatever color they want, but you get what I mean. Two sides. There are 3 zones that you can capture. Each team can capture. There's A, B, and C. And in B, there's obviously your minions and all that in between. And whichever team holds the most zones and gets the most points wins. Now, this game mode is quite fun. It's quite interesting. However, it's very easy to gank players, and it's very, very easy to just like camp in a zone, basically. Which, in my personal opinion, is very, very boring. So here's what I propose. They can do all the balancing and stuff like that later, but this is just like the gist foundation of what I think could work a little bit more fun. They could add a whole new lane, or 2 whole new lanes. So you've got, obviously, your A, B, and C in the middle, and the minions and all that. And then there's 2 extra zones, which we could just call them F for feats or whatever. And rather than having it so where you pick your feats before you go in the game, basically these little like 2 extra lanes what you can go down are not only an extra way to get into your opponent's area and capture and fight or, you know, hold them or whatever. It could be like a little shop area where you can choose your feats as you go. Because there's been plenty of times when I have chosen feats that I have regretted from the moment I've started playing. For example, I chose Warden one time and I had the feat and Thick Blood, which both feats are not necessarily bad. However, the enemy team had no bleed-based heroes. So in that situation, I would have been really, really happy if I could have just changed my feats mid-game. And on top of it being that way where you can change your feats mid-game, they could also make it so that obviously the feats are changed, so they're different, which it'll be making the game more strategy-based, which I personally think that is what the game needs. And on top of all of this, it would reduce the chances of there being like gankers and stuff, because you can spread out further. And if they wanted to, they really wanted to, they could do it so where, you know, I don't know, a boss spawns there or something and you get extra feats, you know, extra points, or even like a flag, because no one plays tribute. No one likes tribute, I've noticed, which I feel like if they added something from that game mode to Dominion, it would kind of revive the whole tribute game mode. So that's why I think having 2 extra lanes, or even just 1 extra lane, or like none at all, but the option to change your feats mid-game should be added, because it would just make it a lot more fun and a lot more strategy based, and you won't be feeling so screwed over if you choose the wrong feats. But anyway, that's all I've got to say. Obviously, this is just my opinion, and, you know, even though my opinion doesn't carry much weight, I still like to say my opinion on things, and I do, you know, I am entitled to an opinion. Of course, they don't have to do it exactly the way I've said it, but I just think something along those lines would be really, really cool for the game, and it would kind of make it more fun, you know? So, anyway, thanks for watching the video to the end. If you did, I really, really appreciate you. I hope you are staying safe. I hope you're awesome. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.